Hello and welcome to Inside Wyoming Football with head coach Craig Bohl. We are here in the beautiful Marion H. Rochelle Gateway Center. We've got some highlights of the game on Saturday night. The Cowboys at Air Force to take on the Falcons. It was a late nighter, coach, and I know it didn't turn out the way you wanted, but there's always some good things that happen in games, even in losses, I think.
Well, there's getting to be more good things each week, and the scoreboard's not indicating that. I thought defensively that was probably as well as what we played against a very challenging offense, and particularly at halftime, I thought there was a great deal of momentum heading our way. Offensively, we did get some big plays. Our penalties were dropped down, but you know, our really Achilles heel in this ball game was the number of turnovers. And you go on the road and you play a tough team like Air Force, you're going to need to play close to air free. We didn't do that. The effort was there, the execution's not. We got to put one foot in front of the other and move forward.
Yeah, those 4 turnovers were key, that's for sure, Coach. And why don't we go to Falcon Stadium? This is a late nighter, kickoff not until 8:30 or so on Saturday night. Falcon Stadium, here we go, Coach.
Well, they moved us back about 5 minutes, so we're going to adjust with the TV networks. But it was a great environment. This late in the year was a super weather setting. Here you can see great energy by our defense playing assignment football. Lucas Walker had an outstanding ball game, and the linebackers really play a critical role in defending this triple option. And here you can see some really aggressive play. This is Andrew Wingert and Marcus Epps. Those are difficult plays to see. Here you can see Andrew coming from the secondary, force a quick pitch, and Marcus, that's a tackle for loss. Our defense is flying around. Our offense comes off the football here, and this is an off-tackle power play. Brian breaks into the secondary. You can see him utilize his speed. We're deep in Air Force's territory here, hoping to come up with some major points off a touchdown. We get stopped. Air Force comes back. This is their first drive. I think it came off of their first touchdown drive came off a turnover. Now, fullback's a really critical part of the triple option. They did a nice job here. Now here you can see our guys coming back, and we've got them pinned deep in their territory. Andrew Wingert's hanging on to dear life with that jersey. And what was so encouraging here, you can see Uso Oliva run. That's a 315-pound guy. I don't know if we've seen Uso play as hard as what he's done all year long. Once again, play action pass, really a big time hit. The ball comes out. This is Antonio Hall, another true freshman playing. We've got the ball deep in Falcon territory. Unfortunately here, Dave, we were not able to really get a touchdown out of that. We needed to. The positive, encouraging thing, Tristan Bailey comes in, who hails from Colorado Springs, a freshman, and splits the upright. That's his first field goal of the year, and there's always a breakthrough moment to get one of those like that. So we're encouraged as far as what Tristan's doing there. So you can see the score 7-3, a heck of a ball game right here. Air Force is coming back, and they open up on a play action pass. It's a great play by Robert Priester going up. We call that high pointing the football. Robert comes up. You'll see this highlight here. Comes back, gets a deep post route, takes the ball away from the defender. Robert's getting better and better as each game comes along. So there's the first highlights in this first half highlights. Second half here, you can see a really good off-tackle play again. Offensive line does a good job with Brian. You know, about a 28-yard gain here, close to midfield. The ball game is really tight, 7-3. We're moving the football. We did get stumped. Here, Air Force comes up with a double pass and got behind our secondary. They got behind Robert there. That was a play they had not shown. We should have done a better job adjusting to it, but quite frankly, that guy threw the ball as well as anybody they had on their football team. We're moving the ball here later in the second half. Brian breaks through. You can see him break about 3 or 4 tackles. Great determination. Brian ran really hard. The unfortunate thing, we had 2 unforced fumbles. We've got to clean those things up. Here's a good play action pass between Cam, I believe that's Jake Maulhart, in the corner of the end zone. We're down, but now this cuts it to an 18-point game, a 3-possession game, and so we felt like we still had a shot. We certainly need to go into a no-huddle offense and try to create some points, which we're doing. Here you can see we're operating with the no-huddle. Cam does a nice job. They came with an all-out blitz, and that's once again a good job of protecting, and Jake Maulhart got behind him. Cam put the ball where it needed to be. You can see good protection, good pocket presence, put the ball where it needed to be, and we came up with a touchdown. So 31-17, not where we want to be. We're late in the ball game. You know, time of possession's about equal. Air Force has got a good football team, and for us to win, we're going to need to play really well. I think the key factors we talked about were those 4 turnovers. We've got to clean that up.
Yeah, those were the mistakes that really hurt the Cowboys in this one, of course. But there were 4 sacks also. I know that it kind of figured in a little bit. But all in all, as you look back on this, there were some big plays made. We saw 2 touchdown passes. And the defense was making plays all night long. There's a little bit of attrition going on now on the Cowboy defensive side. Yeah,
we certainly, you know, I think we're going to be without 3 players this next week. We'll find out. But, you know, there's concussion protocol that we're going to go through. Lucas Waka, OC's out, and I think Robert Priester's going to be out. We'll see as the week goes along. So the next man's got to step up.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about for these Cowboys. And those young players continue to get valuable experience, playing time, Coach.
Well, they do, and the other thing we're noticing, though, is they're getting more and more competitive. They're making more plays. You saw Robert Priester, Marcus Epps, Andrew Wingert, all those guys that are making more and more plays.
Yeah, they really are. Well, stay with us. More to come on Inside Wyoming Football with head coach Craig Bohl. We're back after this timeout.
Inside Wyoming Football with Craig Bohl is brought to you by your Magnificent 7 Wyoming Toyota dealers, Wyoming Relay, the University of Wyoming International Programs Office, and the University of Wyoming Outreach School.
Welcome back to Inside Wyoming Football with head coach Craig Bohl. The Cowboys went down to Colorado Springs and took on the Air Force Academy Falcons, and number 83, Jake Maulhart, had a big game for Wyoming. Let's get to know the junior receiver from Camarillo, California, Jake Maulhart.
Play action, Kaufman goes end zone, and it's pay dirt for Wyoming. Jake Maulhart toward the goal line. Maulhart, another touchdown, his 2nd of the night.
Well, obviously his size is a big-time advantage for us, and just the complete knowledge of what we're trying to accomplish as an offense is where we look for him. And obviously he's had some game experience, and so he knows when he gets put in situations, he knows how to react and how to make a play in those situations. And so, you know, when somebody tries to man him up and play physical with him, he's going to win those matches 9 out of 10 times. And so that's kind of what we look for with him.
2nd down and goal for Wyoming. Looking for Maulhart, and he got him in the front of the end zone for the touchdown.
I used my body a lot in high school, and then when I came to college, it was a little bit different because everyone was so big that it took me a while to get my weight up and where I'm comfortable with using my body again. That's where I think I'm starting to get to this year. And just with the coaches, the new offense that we're running and everything, they put me in situations that I'm able to use my body. And so I'm real happy with how that's going this year.
Not only just running around and doing routes, but in the blocking game. He's a very fantastic blocker as well as in the run game, and then just understanding when the ball's in the air, how to really control his ball and come down with the ball.
That's something I definitely pride myself on, and especially in this offense where it's run first kind of heavy offense, you have to block if you want to play. And so with me being a bigger guy, they've done different things where they motion me into a tight end position and stuff where I've had to block, and I really enjoy it because it's a part of the game, and I feel like I could separate myself by blocking.
I think that is something that he's taken to another level, and as well as just being in situations in the middle of the field, not just the red zone, and being able to get himself open. And he's able to do that not only just through zones, but as well as man coverage and things like that. He's able to get himself open and be able to make plays when the ball's in the air. He's improved on.
I think just keep getting faster is probably the hardest thing to achieve, because a lot of that stuff is you're just born with. So there's only so much that you can work on. So, you know, the things that I can work on, I've worked really hard at, is just keep getting faster, keep getting my speed better and my technique better.
Jake Maulhart with those 2 touchdown catches against Air Force. That's a first for him in his career. And Coach, he did come up big in the Air Force game. He's also quite a leader on that offense, I think.
Well, he certainly is, and how he plays with a great deal of tenacity. You know, he's a tall, angular guy, but he's very aggressive. He's a great blocker. We're utilizing his body positions going up against smaller defensive backs. And, you know, he's kind of a hybrid between a tight end and a big wide receiver. And the encouraging thing is as each game's gone along, as each season's gone along, he's become much more confident in his play and really become a go-to guy for us.
He's playing very well right now. Well, stay with us. More to come on Inside Wyoming Football with head coach Craig Bohl. We're back with more right after this timeout. Jacob Hollister is having quite a year for the Wyoming Cowboys. The Cowboy tight end, a junior from Bend, Oregon, has been very good this season. You know, there's somebody out there that looks an awful lot like Jacob Hollister. Let's find out more with this.
Kirkgard wants to throw. He's looking downfield, wide open, caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Jacob Hollister with the catch.
30. Williams is the running back. Allen's going to throw toward the sideline. Caught by Cody Hollister. Nicely done. Still on his feet. Hollister up to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, we pretty much planned on staying together all through college, and until he got a late offer from Arkansas, which he decided to go there, and I thought was a great decision for him. We were both planning on coming here also, so pretty much that was the plan, go to Nevada together. We decided to go to the JUCO together and hope to get the same offer out of that, which we knew the chances were pretty low, but it somehow worked itself out, and then he got the late Arkansas offer.
That was out of all the things I've been through in life, probably the hardest thing that I've ever been through emotionally. When I first came here, I didn't like to show it, but I was just broken down because here's my twin brother who I've looked up to and I've had at my side. The longest we've been apart was probably about a week in our whole life. So when he was apart, I'm not going to lie, it was really hard, but the adjustment finally settled in, and now we're doing fine, but I still miss him all the time.
It was definitely pretty hard at first, but I think it was good in the end because at some point we needed to learn how to live apart from each other and kind of make our own paths and stuff like that, and I feel like it was good for both of us.
Me and my brother are pretty much the same person. Growing up, he likes to imitate me. Now it's probably the other way around. I like to imitate him. He's technically my bigger brother, an hour and a half ahead. I know, feel bad for my mom, but it's grown a lot in that we both had to separate schools and went through a big change. As men, we just had to become men apart from each other, so we've always had each other to lean on, but now we've actually had to grow into individual men, and that's what we've had to rely on each other, being away from each other with text messages and calls and just prayer. So we've had to grow a lot in that way, but we've never lost any sort of relationship or contact with each other.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, even now when we're together, I mean, we talk on the phone pretty much every day, and as kids, couldn't really separate us. And I think more as a kid, you want to kind of distance yourself from a twin, but you kind of, as you get older, you just want to be around them all the time. I feel like it's always been rooting for each other, and especially because football's always been our favorite sport, and he played receiver, I played quarterback growing up, and so it was kind of a tandem deal where we played together. So I mean, if one of us did well, the other one had to have done well because we played quarterback and receiver. So, I mean, I always have wanted the best for him, and he's always wanted the best for me, and we've been each other's biggest supporters all through life at this point.
I think he's always been a quarterback growing up, so we've been just on the same team as a team, and me being a wide receiver and him being a quarterback, so it's worked really well together. But then there's a little bit of competition now. I mean, he's doing better than I am. Obviously, I have my foot injury right now, but he's doing great at tight end. But there's always, I mean, we're twins and we're competitors, so we're always going to have a little bit of animosity of just competing every week, but we're always rooting for each other without a doubt. I want him to have the best game ever every single day.
It's got to be a little bit unusual that you go from quarterback to tight end. Has he been giving you a bad time about that?
At first, he gave me a lot of trouble at Arizona Western because obviously it took me a little bit to get the hang of things, and he made jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, I really tried to just base my game and running my routes and stuff around him because, I mean, watching him, he runs some of the best routes I've ever seen, and obviously I might be a little bit biased and stuff like that, but I mean, being a quarterback for him, he runs great routes, and so I really just tried to watch his game, and when we're home, we work together and stuff like that, and try to be as much like him as I can, basically.
I wouldn't say that I helped him all that much. I mean, he really is just a freak athlete by himself, but I do like to think that it's all in the genes, and he converted really smoothly because of that, but he is just a freak athlete. He transitioned, he worked hard to transition, and I helped him any way I could, whether it's ball skills or getting off the line or anything, little route concepts, or I'll throw a little pointer in here or there, but now it's to the point where we help each other out, because he'll see something in my game that he wants me to work on, and I'll see something in his game that he needs to work on.
I feel really comfortable now, I'd say, and I feel like I've been playing it my whole life at this point, but I feel like I definitely need to make some strides, and watching myself on film, you're always kind of I'm my own biggest critic and stuff like that, and I definitely need to make some improvements in the blocking game, and I'm always just looking at different things that I need to clean up in practice and stuff like that, and all I can hope for is to improve every day and hopefully be steps ahead of where I am next year also.
Who's better looking, do you think?
I mean, as you can see, I think that question answers itself, but I think he'll beg to differ. But he's trying to grow his hair out like me, so he's been trying to go for the longer look, but I don't think it's working for him.
I know what he said, but as you can see,
Boy, Coach, those two guys are spitting image. Those are identical twins. That's something.
Yeah, twins are certainly special. The thing that we have found about Jake, and our offense relies so much on tight ends. When we first came to our program, there were no tight ends in the program, and so what Jake has done has really been special and getting better all the time.
Yeah. More to come on Inside Wyoming Football with head coach Craig Bohl. We're back right after this.
Inside Wyoming Football with Craig Bohl is brought to you by your Magnificent 7 Wyoming Toyota dealers, Wyoming Relay, the University of Wyoming International Programs Office, and the University of Wyoming Outreach School.
Next up for the Wyoming Cowboys, well, it's homecoming, and right there in War Memorial Stadium, the Pokes will take on the Nevada Wolfpack. And who better to find out about that Nevada defense? Well, all about the Wolfpack. We'll get the inside information from Cowboy offensive line coach Scott Fuchs.
I think their experience within the same defense over a number of years allows them to play very fast. I think they do what they do, and they do that very well. 3 down as opposed to 4 down. I mean, 4 down, you're going to get 4 defensive linemen with their hand down, and 3 down, you're going to get 3 defensive linemen with their hand down and 4 linebackers. However, how you line them up can be very similar at times. A 3 down team might have more versatility with what they do with their linebackers as opposed to a 4 down front team. But alignment-wise, you do get a lot of similar alignments with both looks. It's just kind of depending on what they're choosing to do with it. You know, if I take myself back over a year ago to where we are now, big smile on my face, you know. I think it's not just the 5 guys that are out there. I think there's 7 or 8 guys that are very, very tight, and you know, when we're on the sideline, every one of those guys is into when we're talking about what's going on in the game. Every player, whether they're backing up or whether they're in the game, they're into it. They're understanding what we're adjusting. That's exciting to see. I think the growth there in our understanding and developing guys, I think that's a big part of it.
I don't think there's anybody else better to get information on an opposing team than that coach Scott Fuchs. He has done a great job with the Cowboy offensive line coach.
Well, they're very young, and that's a tough place to play. What Scott has done is always got those guys working in concert. It's a tough position to play, and he's done a great job, and he was a great offensive lineman himself.
Well, let's visit about the Nevada Wolfpack. The keys to the game in this homecoming game, Coach. What do you think?
Well, for us to continue to improve, Dave, very first thing we need to do is eliminate those turnovers. And we've done a better job with the penalties, but reduce those turnovers, and our defense to become very aggressive. You know, they got a quarterback there. Stewart is their quarterback. He's throwing the ball about 58%. good touchdown to interception ratio. They've got two big, strong running backs. We'll need to shut the running game down, make them throw the ball, make them throw it in a hurry. The kicking game is always going to be so important. We need to leverage the fact Ethan Wood had a great game this last game, continued to do well, change that field position, and be opportunistic to come up with some big plays.
Of course, it'd be nice to see Brian Hill get off again. 7 of the last 10 games, Coach, he's gone over 100 yards.
Well, he certainly has, and he's a big, strong guy. We need to get some holes for him, but once we break him into that secondary, many times he's got a great mismatch against smaller defensive backs.
Home games are always special, but homecoming even more special, isn't it?
Well, there's no doubt about it. It's always great to have all our alums come back, and what's going on campus is really special.
It really is. Well, you come back next time around and take a look at the highlights. The Cowboys against the Nevada Wolfpack homecoming. That's going to do it for us. For the head coach, I'm Dave Walsh. So long, everybody.
The Cowboys pick it up, and running with it is Hull. Hull will be driven out of bounds. Now he wants to throw, looks downfield, fires, this is caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Jake Maulhart takes the snap, steps up and fires downfield. This is caught. Touchdown, Wyoming. Caught by Maulhart, his second touchdown catch of the night. Roberts back to throw now, looking over the middle, looking deep over the middle. This is picked off. It's intercepted by Robert Priester.